listeners, happy Yoga Sunday. I'm Coach Anne Marie, bringing you your weekly yoga session from the comfort of my own Boom yoga room. I'm glad you're here. We're going to be working on our strength sequence today. So there will be standing poses. There will be stretching and relaxing as well. Don't worry. But it will be a little more strength involved. What I recommend you grabbing for this yoga class is a blanket that you can roll up and use as a prop, or a throw pillow, something that has a little stiffness to it rather than a big fluffy pillow. If you have a yoga block, you can grab that. You can also keep your water bottle handy. It can help to serve as a yoga block to get a little height underneath your hands if you need it in some of these poses. So we'll start with those. We'll use those throughout the sequence. So just place them to the side for now. And what we're going to be working on today are heart openers, so chest openers, and as well as our hips. So that's what we'll be working on. If you have any low back issues or any shoulder pain, listen to your body, ease up on it. I can't be there to guide you specifically, but I will be giving modifications for pretty much every single pose throughout the sequence. So just listen to your body, listen to my voice, and start up some gentle yoga music, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so go ahead and roll onto your back. We'll be coming into a reclined butterfly position. Soles of your feet are together, knees are out wide, and this is a moment where you can use your props if your hips are feeling a little stiff today. You can always place a block or a couple of pillows, rolled up blankets underneath your upper thighs, and then go ahead and roll it onto your back. And then just allow your knees to lay out wide, sinking towards the floor. If the props do not feel good, you don't have to use them. They're always optional. And then just allow your knees again. Allow gravity to take hold and pull them down towards the ground. Hands can rest on your hips, your belly, or down by your side. And go ahead and bring your eyes to a close. Begin breathing nice and deep, filling your belly and your diaphragm all the way up into your chest and your lungs. And exhale, allowing your chest to fall and then your belly to deflate. Inhale, nice and big, taking up space. And exhale, release. And go ahead and stay here, flowing through these deep diaphragmatic breaths a few times, just waking up the body gently, slowing down our nervous system. And we'll begin the practice by dedicating this sequence to ourselves. So finding some self-compassion here. The idea being that you have to fill your own cup before you can fill anyone else's. And to help direct our focus and our minds towards this concept, I want you to repeat the mantra, either out loud or to yourself. I am happy. I am healthy. I am safe. I am at peace. I am happy. I am healthy. I am safe. I am at peace. Happy, healthy, safe, and peaceful. If that's too much for you and you don't want to have to think of all those things every time, just pick one of those words. I am happy. And hold it in your mind, using it as an anchor throughout your class. As you move through the movements, if your mind begins to wander, just redirect your thoughts back to that word, back to that breath, back to that mantra. If you feel yourself getting frustrated with your body or with your mind, just remind yourself that you're happy, you're healthy, You are safe, and you're at peace. We'll take 2 more full deep breaths here. Again, really expanding that belly, filling your back body, feeling it press down into the mat. Rib cage expands 360 degrees. And with every exhale, relaxing a little bit more. And after that third exhale, go ahead and use your hands to press your thighs up. Knees come together. Soles of your feet are down on the mat. And go ahead and place your block or blankets or pillows off to the side so you have some room to work on your mat. We're going to be moving into a bridge pose finding 3 variations of this pose. So to start, go ahead and bring the soles of your feet hip distance apart, knees hip distance apart, and bringing your feet in towards your bum. So you should be able to touch your heels with your fingertips. If not, that's okay. On our first bridge, we're going to bring our fingertips up towards the sky. Elbows and triceps are glued to the mat. Roll your shoulders underneath you to make a rainbow shape with your upper back. Super glue your feet down into the ground. And as you inhale, lift your hips up towards the sky. And as you exhale, slowly lower down, 1 vertebrae at a time, your tailbone the last thing to land. Rock forward on that tailbone, and as you inhale, begin to curl your tailbone up, lifting your spine 1 vertebrae at a time, lifting up to your highest point, and as you exhale, slowly lower down, doing your best to keep your knees in towards your midline, keeping them hip distance apart throughout the entire movement. Inhale, lift, rolling up and down your spine, and then exhale, slowly lower down. And on this next time, we're really going to hold it in a static position. So get ready. So super glue your feet down, and as you inhale, lift your hips, highest point, 1 straight line from your knees all the way to your shoulders, grounding your elbows down into the mat, triceps down into the mat, rolling your shoulders underneath you even more, opening that chest, and breathe. Keeping your feet super glued to the mat, actively and isometrically pulling your heels in towards your booty, feeling your hamstrings engage. Lift your glutes a little higher. Imagine pushing your kneecaps towards the front of the room, feeling that lift even more. And hold. Working your shoulders underneath you even more if you can. Feel your chest lift up towards your chin. Hold. And breathe. For 3, 2, 1. And then slowly release, starting at the top of your spine. 1 vertebrae at a time, following the curve of your back all the way down. And release your arms down to your side. All right. Our next variation is going to be, we're only going to do 2. So go ahead and bring the soles of your feet kind of together so that only the knife edge, the outer edge of your feet are touching the mat. So big toe mounds come to touch, ball of your foot comes to touch, heels come to touch, and the outer edges of your feet are the only thing making contact with your mat. Okay, so we'll start by bringing your fingertips up towards the sky again. Knees are out wide, like you're in a half butterfly. And we'll do the same thing. So we'll start with the flow, and then we'll hold it in a static position. So as you inhale, begin to press into the outer edges of your feet, squeezing the inner feet together. Inhale, lift your hips high. And as you exhale, slowly lower down. do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. And exhale, slowly lower. One more time in that flow. Pausing at your highest point before gently lowering down. All right, so for the static hold, I want you to lower your hands down and begin by gripping the edges of your mat. So pulling, using that as traction against your feet. So whenever you get ready, inhale, begin to lift those hips up, pressing the outer edges of your feet down into the mat. Again, roll your shoulders underneath you, making that rainbow shape with your upper back. Gripping the edge of your mat and grounding your triceps down into the ground. Feeling your quads working all the way from your knees up to your hips. Really engaging here. Lifting your chest up towards your chin. Finding that back bend and space in your upper back. Gripping onto the mat here. For 3, 2, 1. And then slowly release. Shoulders come from underneath you. Tailbone is the last thing to drop down. Then go ahead and bring your feet out to the outer edges of your mat and allow your knees to knock in towards each other. If they don't touch, that's fine. This just encourages your hips to release and relax after all that work. Take a couple of centering breaths here, calming breaths. And then go ahead and bring your feet back to hip distance apart. Knees are hip distance. And we'll move into a figure 4. So right ankle crosses across your left thigh. And you are welcome to stay here. Or if you'd like a little more stretch, you can hug your knees in towards your chest, interlacing your fingers behind your left thigh. Externally rotate your right thigh, pushing that right knee out away from you. You can do this either just by engaging that thigh, or you can use your right elbow to help encourage it to stretch. Drop your tailbone down towards the ground, feeling your low back press into the mat, and breathe. Right foot remains flexed. You're welcome to do some ankle circles with that left foot, going one direction and then the other, working out any pops or kinks. In the yoga tradition, we tend to hold a lot of emotions in our hips. And so doing these gentle hip openers can really help encourage to find relaxation not only in our bodies, but in our minds. Take one more full deep breath here. And on an exhale, slowly release that left foot back down, right foot comes down. And you can windshield wiper your legs to release your low back. Coming back to the center, we'll move to figure 4 on the other side. Right foot stays planted, left ankle crosses over right thigh. And again, yogi choice, you can stay here, actively pressing that left knee away from you. Or you're welcome to hug your knees in towards your chest, externally rotate that left hip, or use your left elbow to help encourage it to stretch. Again, keep that left foot flexed and active to protect your left knee. And then slowly roll out your right ankle, going both directions to make sure you're even. Allowing the tailbone to melt towards the floor, shoulders melt away from your ears, and shoulder blades are pressing down into the mat. Take one more full deep breath here. And on an exhale, lower that right foot down to the mat, left foot comes down to meet it, and then go ahead and hug your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Keeping your right knee hugged in, left leg lays long. We'll come into a spinal twist. So roll to your left side, right knee comes across your body. Arms come out to a goalpost or a T, feeling your chest open, your collarbones broaden. On your next inhale, slowly roll to your back. Both knees come into your chest again, and then right leg lays long, left knee hugged in. And then whenever you feel ready, slowly roll to your right side. And again, opening your arms out wide to help encourage the left shoulder down towards the mat. Using each and every exhale to find a little more softening in those tight areas. Scanning your body from head to toe, seeing if there's any tension. Any place you're holding onto your anxiety. And on your next inhale, slowly roll onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest, placing your hands behind your thighs. And we'll do 3 full spinal rocks in order to get up to seated. So go ahead and rock yourself forward and back, coming onto your tailbone. Doing that just a couple more times, massaging the full length of your spine, and we'll all meet at seated. All right. We're going to come into a butterfly stretch, seated on your mat. So the soles of your feet come together, knees are out wide, just like how we started. And before we fold over our feet, I want you to sit up nice and tall. So the sits bones are firmly rooted down into the ground, taking hold of your feet with your hands. Roll your shoulder back, chest comes forward between your shoulders, and breathe. Crown of the head nice and tall, stretching towards the sky. Engaging your belly so it's not poking forward, but still bringing in your rib cage, imagining it knitting together in the front. So still focusing on that posture. And then if you'd like to, and it's available to you, you can begin to fold your torso forward over your feet. Hands can walk away from your body for support. On an inhale, slowly walk yourself back up, and then open your legs wide into a straddle stretch. So to start, bring your hands behind your body as a kickstand, lifting your chest to help make sure that you feel nice and elevated up through those hips. Flex both feet and ground your heels down into the mat. Find a micro bend in your knees, and then isometrically pull your heels in towards your midline. You should feel some gentle engagement in your quads and your hamstrings, as well as your calves. Sits bones are firmly rooted down into the ground. And breathe. Keeping that engagement in your feet and your legs, go ahead and release your hands to the floor in front of you. Placing your right hand on the right arm, the top of your right arm, to the inside of your right leg. If this is unavailable to you, you can take a blanket, Roll it up and place it on the inside of your right leg to bring the floor up to you. Inhale, breathe up, stretching your torso up as high as you can. And as you exhale, sink down into that right arm, coming into a side stretch. If you'd like to increase the stretch, you can lift that left arm up overhead, hand coming over towards your right foot, and then roll that left shoulder back so it's even with your right, opening your chest towards the front of the room in the sky. And hold. You should feel this left stretch all the way through your left oblique, and your left sits bone might be coming off the mat, and that's perfectly fine. As you sink into the stretch, you may find that you no longer need the blanket or the prop. You're welcome to remove it or make it a little less thick, sinking even deeper into that stretch. Take one more big inhale, exhale here. And as you inhale, slowly lift yourself back up. Taking a moment to just center yourself, literally and figuratively. And then go ahead and get set up for the other side. So again, you're welcome to move that prop over to the inside of your left leg. The top of your left arm comes down onto the mat, or onto your prop, I'm sorry. Placing your right hand on your right hip, roll your shoulder out and up. And breathe. Again, if you'd like to increase the stretch, your right arm comes up overhead, and then hand reaches out towards those left toes. Right bicep comes in by your right ear, encouraging that opening through your chest even further. Again, if you find that the prop is no longer needed, or you'd like to intensify the stretch, you can place it to the side or make it a little less thick. Continuing to breathe. Sending those exhales into your right side body or wherever you feel the most stretch. And on your next inhale, slowly come back up to center. Taking a moment here, maybe closing your eyes. And then go ahead and make your way into a tabletop position. So go ahead and roll onto your hands and your knees. Wrists are beneath your shoulders. Knees are beneath your hips. And toes are tucked. We'll move through 3 cat-cows following our breath. So as you inhale, drop your belly. Chest and tailbone lift towards the sky, making a U with your back. As you exhale into cat, curl your spine, tuck your chin, and bring your gaze towards your knees. 2 more times. Inhale into cow, pulling your chest forward and up, rolling your shoulders back. Exhale into cat, press your hands away from you, pressing into the ground. Chest is lifted, shoulder blades spread apart. Last time, inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. And then go ahead and release back into a neutral tabletop. And we'll do what we call a calf smash. So keeping that left knee bent and placed on the mat, I want you to bring your right shin across your left calf. So right behind your left knee. Right knee can remain on the mat. From here, I want you to begin sitting your hips back, feeling your shin press down into your calf muscle. So it may be intense. If it is, sit up a little bit. If you like that intensity, you can sit those hips back. And then gently rock your hips left and right, feeling your shin move across your left calf. So gently working into that left calf muscle here. As gentle as it can be, really. Almost like it's a lacrosse ball that you're using to massage that tight muscle. Go ahead and do that a couple of more times. And then gently release, coming back into that tabletop. And we'll do the other side. So keeping your right knee glued to the mat, cross your left shin behind your right knee. Left knee comes down to the mat as well. And then again, sit your hips back, feeling your shin press into your calf. And then rock your hips from side to side, moving your shin left and right across your calf. If the gentle movements do not feel good and the static feels better, you find a good point to stop and just let it sink in. You're welcome to do so. Take a couple of more breaths here. And then slowly release back into that tabletop. Move your hands one palm length in front of where you currently are placed. Tuck your toes and begin straighten your legs, pressing your hips back, finding downward facing dog. Feeling that sensation in your calves after just having massaged them. Maybe bend one knee and then the other, pressing one heel down towards the ground, pausing before you move to the other one. Feeling that calf and those hamstrings lengthen with each heel press. And then go ahead and find stillness in the pose. Knees can remain bent. The hips are high, the highest point of this inverted triangle, this triangle shape. And breathe. On an inhale, slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. And allow your body to drape over your thighs, keeping your knees bent, finding a forward fold. Head releases towards the ground, crown of your head towards the mat. You can shake your head yes and no to release your neck. And on an inhale, slowly roll all the way up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Your head, the last thing to come up. And you can stay at the back of your mat or find a position at the front of your mat, whatever feels comfortable for you. All right. We're going to do some standing side bends. So feet are about hip distance apart. And as you inhale, lift your arms up overhead, palms come to touch, interlace your fingers, and then drop all your fingers except for your pointers, pointing up towards the sky. As you inhale, lift up through your torso. And as you exhale, bend over to your right. Inhale, lift back through center, and bend over to your left. Feeling that stretch all the way from your lat down to your hip. Inhale, lift. We'll do that one more time on each side. Inhale, center and over to the left. And then inhale, back to center. Arms come down by your side. From here, we're going to find a chair pose. So again, feet are hip distance apart. Sit that booty back like you're in a chair. And inhale, lift your arms so that your biceps are up by your ears. Hold. Tucking your tailbone ever so slightly to engage those lower abs. You should be able to see your knees or your toes in front of your knees, and if you can't, lift out of the pose just a little bit. Keeping those legs engaged, that booty engaged, lower abs engaged, lift your chest a little higher. Bring those biceps back by your ears. Hold. And breathe. Take one more full deep breath. And on an inhale, keeping this chair pose, come up onto your tippy toes, balance here. And exhale, heels come to the floor, knees come to straight, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up to standing, and then arms come to a cactus position. So keeping your arms here, inhale, lift your chest, slight bend in those knees as you find a gentle back bend. Exhale, release, arms come back up, and we'll find that chair pose one more time. So go ahead and bend those knees, nice and deep, booty is back, tuck that tailbone. Find your toes in front of your knees, arms come up, and lift your chest. Biceps are up by your ears. Feel the shake, stick with it. On your next inhale, come up onto those tippy toes. Really work in those calves. And exhale, heels drop down, straighten those knees, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Finding those cactus arms, slight micro bend in those knees, gentle back bend, opening your chest forward and up. And then inhale, straighten your knees, straighten your arms. And coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to shins. Flat back, crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. And then exhale, forward fold. Step or jump back into your high plank. You have the option to stay here or move through a cobra. So for the cobra people, as you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, lift your chest into cobra or upward dog as I'm showing you. And then tuck your toes and exhale, press your hips back into downward facing dog. Pausing here for just a few breaths. Finding your breath again, finding your center. Reminding yourself the word or the mantra that you chose at the beginning of class. Go ahead and move your left foot towards your midline. And then on an inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. As you exhale, bend that knee, bringing it in towards your nose, stepping it all the way to the top of your mat, finding a low runner's lunge. Staying here, go ahead and grab a block or your water bottle or a blanket, whatever you have. Place that left hand on that prop and sweep your right arm up to the sky, finding a twist. Lift that left back of left thigh up towards the sky and then sink deeper into that right leg. And breathe. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower that right hand down. Remove your prop if you need to. And then slowly begin to straighten that right leg. Finding a hamstring stretch and also a stretch all the way through your right ankle and your right shin. If this is available to you, you can grab a couple of props, a water bottle and a block or a pillow to get a little more height. And then begin to straighten. And then slowly bend forward back into that lunge. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, lunge forward. 1 more time. Inhale, straighten. And then exhale, lunge forward. From here, go ahead and place your blocks or props to the side, and we'll move into a crescent lunge. So keeping your legs where they are. Inhale, lift your arms and torso up, finding your crescent. Holding here for just a couple of breaths, isometrically pulling your legs in together towards your midline to help you balance. And then move your arms to that cactus position we found earlier and lift your chest up, gentle back bend. Holding here for a couple of breaths, dropping your shoulders away from your ears. And then inhale, come back to center, arms come back overhead. Begin to straighten that right knee, and then quarter turn to your left, finding a wide angle position for your legs. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips, and with a flat back, begin to forward fold over the middle of your mat. And release your head towards the floor. And you can always use a prop to bring the floor closer to you. Place that underneath your hands. And keeping your feet glued where they are, I want you to walk your hands forward, moving your torso with you until it feels as though your hips are above your heels. So squeeze, again, isometrically squeezing those feet in towards your midline, feeling that hamstring and inner thigh engagement. From here, drop your torso and your chest down towards the ground even further. And then keeping your legs where they are in the position of your hips, begin to walk your hands back towards your mat. So you should feel a little more stretch in your outer legs, all the way from your ankle up to your thighs. And breathe. Take one more big inhale and exhale. And on an inhale, I want you to halfway lift, coming up on your fingertips or just lifting, crown of your head reaching towards the front of the room. And then begin working your way into some side lunges. So bending one knee and then the other. Going only as deep as feels comfortable for you. You can even come all the way down, lifting that opposite heel or foot up off the mat, keeping your heel grounded. Pause. And then switch to the other side. Again, using your props however feels good for you. You can bring them with you on either side. We'll do that one more time on each side, pausing a little bit. And we'll end on the side that is at the top of your mat. So for me, that'll be should be on your right side. So work your way over to the right side, and then twist your feet so they're pointing towards the front of the room, and come down towards that left, or come down to that left knee. Go ahead and work your right foot over to the left side of your mat so that your shin is at a 45-degree angle against the short edge, the top edge of your mat. Place your knee and shin down, and then work your left leg back behind you, finding pigeon. So grabbing whatever props you need, you can always, if this is really intense for your hip, you can grab a blanket, roll it up, and place it underneath that right hip so that you are actually sitting on top of it. And then just allow your body to relax into the pose. So to start though, I want you to imagine bringing your knees in towards your midline. That may encourage your hips to lift. That's perfectly fine. And we'll start by just holding that engagement for a few breaths. This helps protect your joints as well as strengthen those hips. Tight hips are a common problem, or not a problem, but a common feeling that we all feel. And they're just such big muscles and do such hard work for us every single day that they take a long time to encourage opening. And to make sure that that opening is safe and healthy, we also have to strengthen them while we increase their flexibility. If you'd like to, you can begin folding forward over that front leg. Again, you can bring a pillow or a blanket underneath your forearms. And if you're on your forearms, I want you to, again, pull those elbows in towards your body, rolling those shoulders back and shining your heart forward. And pigeon is a great time to remind yourself of your mantra or the intention you set, because we will hold this for a few breaths. So if you'd like to, you can repeat that mantra: I am happy, I am healthy, I am safe, I am peaceful. And breathe. As always, remember to breathe. We'll take 2 more full deep rounds of breath in this folded sleeping pigeon. So use these next 2 exhales to intentionally and mindfully release the tightest areas of your hips. On that third inhale, slowly begin to walk your way back upright. Hands come in towards your shin. Remove your prop over to the side if you were using one. And then slowly roll onto your right hip, bringing that left knee all the way across your body. So keeping your right leg exactly where it is. Bring that left foot to the outside of your right knee. So we'll come into a twist. So here we'll twist to our left. So go ahead and bring that left hand to the outside of your left hip or right behind you. And then you have 2 options here. You can hug that left knee in, using that as a tool to help yourself twist over to the left. Or you can bring that right elbow to the outside of your left knee and use that to encourage the twist. Because of my ever-expanding belly, I'm just going to hug in and do a modified twist here. Sit up nice and tall with each inhale, and with each exhale, see if you can sink those sits bones down and twist a little deeper. And by deeper, that may be 1 millimeter. It may be nothing at all, but just relaxing 1 more muscle. Just be wherever you need to be today. Honor your body. Take 1 more full round of breath here. And as you inhale, slowly come back to center and release those knees behind you and underneath you, coming back into a tabletop position. And we'll do a few hip circles here. So going one direction, just moving your hips back like you're coming into a child's pose, circling up and around, coming into a low plank. And then make sure you switch directions. So maybe do 2 or 3 on each side. And once you finish that second or third round, go ahead and meet me back in the middle, and we'll come back into our downward facing dog. So again, tucking those toes, moving those hands forward about 1 hand length, and then begin to straighten your knees, thigh bones moving back towards the back of the room, finding your downward facing dog. We'll move into 3-legged dog on the left side. So move that right foot in towards your midline. Left leg comes up towards the sky. And as you exhale, bend that knee, curl your spine like you're in cat pose, bringing it all the way forward in between your hands. Finding a nice runner's lunge, right knee stays lifted. Grab your prop that you used for your twist, place it underneath your right hand on the inside of your left foot, and sweep your left arm up to the sky. Lift that back of the right thigh up towards the sky Opening your chest towards your left leg as much as you can. Breathing here. And on an exhale, slowly lower down. This time, grabbing another prop if you need it. We'll move forward and back from that hamstring stretch into your lunge. So as you inhale, begin to straighten that left knee, sending those hips back towards the back of the room. And as you exhale, move forward back into that lunge. Inhale, begin to straighten, folding your torso forward as much as you can. Maybe finding a deeper stretch each time. And on an exhale, slowly sink forward into that lunge, feeling that stretch, that right hip flexor. One more time. Inhale, sending those hips back. And then exhale, coming forward into that lunge. Go ahead and place your blocks or props off to the side and get ready for crescent. So pulling those feet isometrically in towards your midline, feeling that strength in your stable base. Whenever you're ready, on an inhale, lift your arms and torso up, and then sink into that left knee, crescent lunge. Inhale, lift, and exhale, moving your arms into that cactus position, and then begin to lift your chest up, finding a gentle back bend, allowing your elbows to have gravity take hold of them, dropping them behind you, opening your chest wide. Imagining your heart shining out. On an inhale, coming forward and up. And then we're going to go ahead and do a quarter turn to your right this time. I'll go ahead and turn towards you guys. So we'd be back in that forward fold. Gently, slightly pigeon toe your feet. And whenever you're ready, exhale, forward fold all the way down. Again, walking your hands forward so that your hips come over your heels. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows as much as you can, allowing your head, torso, and chest to sink towards the floor. Release your head, release your neck. On an inhale, halfway lift, spine is nice and straight. And then slowly begin to find those side lunges again, starting shallow at first, getting gradually deeper with each rock. Again, maybe coming all the way down so that your straight leg, that foot comes up off the ground, heel is still planted. Do that one more time on each side, and then you'll end up on the front side of your mat on your left leg. And we'll find pigeon on the left side. So again, rotating your feet towards the front of your mat, and then working your left foot towards the right edge of your mat. Shin comes down 45 degrees. And again, you can use a blanket or a pillow to kind of prop up that left thigh. We'll start by squeezing our knees in towards our midline, finding a little height underneath us. Feeling those outer thigh muscles engage. Sitting up nice and tall to start here. If this bothers your low back, you can walk your hands forward. And then whenever you feel ready, you're welcome to find sleeping pigeon. So forearms come down to the mat. If you remain here, pull those elbows in towards your body, rolling those shoulders back, shining your chest forward. Breathe, repeating your mantra. The important part of this mantra is that you are stating it as a fact, that it is truth in the present moment. It is not, I will be happy, I will be healthy, I will be safe, I will be peaceful. No, it is that you are. You already embody those things. Those things are already within you. You have happiness, you have health, you have safety, and you have peace within you. So allow those things to flow through you. Take one more full deep round of breath here. And on an inhale, go ahead and walk your hands back towards your body, rolling back onto that left hip, keeping your left knee bent and where it is. Go and sweep that right foot all the way around, placing it on the outside of your left thigh or knee. Again, choosing whatever modification is available to you. Placing that right hand behind you as a kickstand, hugging that left knee in and twisting to the right. Feeling that stretch all the way through that right glute and right thigh. Or the deeper option is to bring that left elbow to the outside of your right knee and twisting even deeper. Continuing to breathe even in this constricted twist. It's important to help make space there, using your diaphragm and your breath to help massage your hips, releasing the tension there. On your next exhale, go ahead and come back to center. Staying seated, go ahead and extend your right leg out to the about a 30 or 45-degree angle. Tucking that left foot in. And we'll start with a revolved head to knee pose. So like we started with at the very beginning in our straddle stretch. Again, you can grab that same prop if you like. But you'll bring the top of your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Left hand comes to your hip, opening your chest forward and up. And then extending that left arm overhead, reaching towards those right toes. Gaze can come up to the sky or can remain in front of you or down towards the floor, whatever your neck allows. If your left sit bone becomes light and begins to lift, that's perfectly fine. Just allow gravity to take hold of that top arm and enjoy the stretch. On an inhale, gently lift all the way up and then twist your torso to the right, pointing your belly button towards those right toes. And then exhale, begin to walk your hands towards that right foot, folding over your right leg. Feeling that stretch still through the left side body, but more onto your back, as well as in your hamstring. On an inhale, slowly walk yourself back upright, and then bring that left hand back behind you, and we'll move into what is called stargazer pose. Inhale, press that left hand down into the mat, lifting your hips up, coming up onto your left knee, pushing your hips forward. Right arm comes up overhead and behind, opening your chest to the sky. Smiling here. And then exhale, gently release your hips back down, and we'll do the other side. So left leg comes out, right foot is tucked in. We'll start with that revolved head to knee pose. Top of your left hand or arm comes down to the mat. Right hand to your right hip. Roll that right shoulder back, opening your chest. And then extend that right arm up and overhead, reaching towards those toes. Continuing to breathe with each inhale, feeling your oblique and that side body really stretch. It feels so good. Gives you even more reason to focus on your deep breathing here. On an inhale, go ahead and lift yourself back up. And then twist your torso over to the left, pointing your belly button towards those left toes. Begin to walk your hands forward towards that foot. And release. And we're not always symmetrical, so one side may be a little less or more flexible than the other. And that's okay, just acknowledge it. I'm definitely more bendy on this side than I am the other side. And that's just a fun fact about me. No reason to figure out why or place judgment on it. On your next inhale, gently walk your hands back towards your body. Place that right hand back behind you and we'll find stargazer on this side. So lift, pressing that hand down into the mat, hips lift up, left arm comes overhead and behind, opening that left pec, stretching out your chest, smile. And on an exhale, gently release your hips back towards the mat. And then go ahead and roll onto your back. Hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, maybe doing a couple of circles with your knees. And then go ahead and place that left foot down on the mat, keeping your left knee bent. And then extend the sole of your right foot up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers, placing them behind your right thigh. Actively press your leg out into your hands as your hands actively press back into your thigh. And hold. Drop that right thigh down into the hip socket, feeling that engagement underneath your body into the mat. You can keep your left knee bent, or if you'd like to, you can begin to extend it nice and long, making that stretch a little more intense. Slowly bend your right knee, hugging that in towards your chest, and then roll to your left side, finding your spinal twist. Arms come out to a T or a goalpost position, and your gaze can come out over your right fingertips. On your inhale, slowly roll onto your back, coming back to center. Again, hugging your knees into your chest. And then go ahead and release your right foot down to the mat. Right knee remains bent. Extend your left foot up towards the sky, straightening your left leg as much as available to you. And release your fingers behind your left thigh. And then actively press your thigh into your hands and your hands back into your thigh. Drop that thigh bone down into your hip socket, feeling your tailbone become heavy, pressing into the ground. And hold. Continuing to breathe here. A lot of times when we do these holding poses, we end up holding our breaths as well. And then if you'd like to extend that right leg long, keeping that left leg up to the sky. Inhale. And on an exhale, bend that left knee in towards your chest. And then roll to your right side, coming into your spinal twist. Again, doing whatever feels best for your arms, goalpost or T. And then gaze comes up over your left fingertips. And breathe. On your next inhale, slowly roll onto your back, hugging both knees in towards your chest again, and then doing any final small organic movements that might feel good for your body before finding final resting pose of Shavasana. So you could do hip circles again, knee circles. They can move in different directions. You could find happy baby, bringing the soles of your feet towards the sky, knees are bent, hugging them down towards the ground. Whatever feels best for you. And then whenever you feel ready to find Shavasana, go ahead and extend your legs out long, relaxed on the floor. Arms are down by your side, palms face up to avoid any external stimuli. Feet flop out to the side, and your eyes come to a close. You can use a variety of props, pillows, blankets to either cover yourself, roll a blanket and place it underneath your knees, or even place the pillow underneath your head and your upper back. So go ahead and grab whatever you need to feel comfortable and relaxed. Allow your eyes to come to a close. Allow your breath to become natural and shallow. And we'll be here for just a couple of minutes. If your mind begins to wander, you can bring your focus back to your intention and your mantra. Or you can mindfully and intentionally release your body, your muscles, starting with your scalp, moving down to your shoulders, your belly, your biceps, your hands. Relax your hips, your quads, your glutes, all the way down to your toes. And pausing at whatever area of your body feels the most tension and sending those exhales into that area. I want you to begin waking up your body first by deepening your breath. So taking a big, deep belly breath like we started at the beginning of class, and exhale with an open mouth, sigh. That 2 more times. Inhale, nice and big. And sigh. 1 more time. Inhale, nice and big, making this your biggest breath yet, feeling your back press into the mat, rib cage expand. And exhale, sigh, make some noise. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll out your ankles and your wrists. Roll your head from side to side. And then extend your arms overhead. Point your toes, finding a full body stretch. Arch your back. And then hug your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug. Thanking your body for all the hard work it's done and how strong and healthy and amazing it truly is. Gently roll to one side using your arm as a pillow. Taking a moment to remind yourself what your intention was at the beginning of class. Happy, healthy, safe, and at peace. Keeping your eyes closed, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Cross your legs in front of you and bring your palms to touch at heart center. Thumbs gently rest on your chest. Gently bow your head. And I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you are all happy, you are healthy, you are safe, and you are at peace. Thank you and namaste.